So I'm just going to keep this short and sweet, but there's been a real issue over the past few years that nobody unfortunately is talking about. And if you try to talk about it, people will bash you for it. And I've been silent for a very long time about this issue. And if you saw the title of this video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And maybe you know what I'm about to say, but I have to say it anyways because not enough people are talking about this. And what is that? Well, it's the issue with the pro-Palestinian movement. And now you might be wondering, what's that? Well, we can dissect that into a bunch of smaller issues. And the issues really started for me after October 7th. We can trace this back to 2023 when, Hamas attacked Israel and so on and so forth. And it was a tragedy, obviously. Nobody's denying that, right? 1,200 Israelis died on that day, and it was very tragic. But what transpired afterwards intrigued me, honestly, because it was going on the right track. It was going where I wanted it to go, right? A pro-Palestinian movement that consists of fighting for the basics, the recognition of a Palestinian state, the recognition of the Palestinians as honestly their own human beings, their own individuals with their own human rights, which they have been stripped of for the past 60, 70 years, and also the fact that they are under illegal occupation by the Israeli government. Now, this was good, and you saw the pro-Palestinian movement honestly taking off after October 7th, after we saw the genocide and everything else, right? You had figures, whether it was on the left or the right, finally unite on one topic, and that was the issue of Israel. We saw people from the far left, like Zoran Mamdani and Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur, finally making amends with people on the right, like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Myron Gaines, Andrew Tate, etc. And it was insane, and I loved it, and it was going good for a certain amount of time. And then, the problems started arising, and nobody really talked about this because they were fine, and they were fine with whatever kept the movement alive, essentially. That was their priority. They no longer cared about the quality of the movement. They started caring about the quantity of the movement. They wanted as much as possible. They wanted as many protests as possible. They wanted, as many people to join the movement as possible. And that was a huge issue, because then the quality of the movement started degrading. And this is where the problem really arose for me. I would start going to, these protests, or I would see it on the TV, or my friends would be talking about it to me. And as a conservative Australian myself, I would go ahead and see, LGBTQ flags and feminist flags and Aboriginal flags at these protests. I'm like, what? What's happening here? Like, the last time I checked, this was a pro-Palestinian march. This was a pro-Palestinian rally. This was only about the issue of the Palestinians. And for some reason, we saw this movement getting hijacked again and again and again. And it only seemed to be getting worse as the time went on. From 2024 to 2025, it progressively got worse. And nobody was saying a single thing about it. And I was very, very frustrated because the whole point of the protests after October 7th to, call out the fucking genocide is that, we wanted to liberate the Palestinians from illegal Israeli occupation. Now, all of a sudden, this movement was used as a Trojan horse for the other movements. And the left completely overtook this pro-Palestinian movement, and they basically added it as one of their little, arrows at the back of, their sachet. It was with, George Floyd and BLM and feminism and LGBTQ. And basically, they took this really important movement, the pro-Palestinian movement, guys, and they put it into this sachet of arrows with BLM, again, George Floyd, and then feminism and LGBTQ, etc. And they basically labeled them oppressed people. Now, this is the issue. I don't want anything to do with any other movement when it comes to the pro-Palestinian movement. The pro-Palestinian movement should always be about, and only about, the liberation of the Palestinians from the illegal Israeli occupied state. It should only be about stopping the genocide. It should only be about reconstructing Gaza. It should only be about the health and the humanity of the Palestinians. Nothing else. Why are we talking about fucking feminism? Why are we talking about LGBTQ? And if you asked the Palestinians living in Gaza and the West Bank, they would never support any of these ideologies, right? They don't give a shit. They're Muslim, they're Christian, they're conservatives like me. I'm an Australian, I'm a conservative. they don't care about those points, and they don't support feminism. They don't support LGBTQ, and for good reason, right? We don't support that as conservatives, and neither do they. I have Palestinian friends, I have Lebanese friends, I have Afghan friends. They're Muslim and they're Christian, etc., and they don't support any of that. So here we are, essentially. It's 2026, early 2026, and the movement has been completely hijacked by the left, and it's been used as just another piece in the salad mix, as you want to say, another fruit, another vegetable in the salad. Let's put it with, George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, and let's put it with, feminism and LGBTQ. Let's just make a beautiful salad, and we'll call that the left. We'll call that the oppressive forces. And it's been complete bullshit, honestly. And I kind of wish I recorded this video soon, but it was kind of boiling in me, and I hope that somebody would say something about this. I wish somebody said something about this earlier, but no one did. Nobody on the left said anything about it, and nobody on the right said anything about it. And it's been causing me a lot of frustration, as you guys can tell. But yeah, the movement has been completely hijacked, and we are seeing pro-Palestinian cause, which is a unique cause. Again, it is only to be associated with the liberation of the Palestinians, whether they're Muslim Palestinians or Christian Palestinians or Jewish Palestinians or whatever, atheist Palestinians, right? And it's been completely taken out of our control, and it has been used by, again, the radical left to have it as another fruit in their salad, another arrow in their bouquet, another flower in their bouquet, sorry. And it's just been used as a guinea pig for the next movement. And they will just use it, and they will disrespect the real issue, the real cause of the movement. And as we know, left or right wing, the bird flies to Israel, obviously. That's too obvious at this point. And if you're still supporting the establishment, you're cooked, you're done. Somebody got killed last year because they were questioning the establishment. A certain Charlie Kirk was killed, unfortunately, which absolutely horrific. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. This has been completely disgraceful, and no Muslim leaders, no Christian leaders have spoken about this, how the movement has been completely hijacked and has been used to propagate these radical leftist ideologies like, feminism and LGBTQ and this and gun control and all this other stuff, when it has absolutely nothing to do with the Palestinians. Absolutely nothing. Okay? And if I have to be the one to call this out, I'll do it. I'll happily do it. But I don't see anybody else talking about it. I don't see anybody else. So if anybody else wants to come forth and talk about this matter, please let me know, because I'd love to do a live stream with you. I have X, I have YouTube. We can do it anyway. And we can talk about this. And we can talk about how the movement has been hijacked and how it really frustrates me as a conservative, because this is not what it was supposed to be. But anyways, that's pretty much it. And please share this message with anybody who's been at a protest or knows what's happening in Gaza and is genuinely frustrated with the direction of this movement, because it is just, again, another fruit in the salad, another bow in the bag, another flower in the bouquet. It's just been tossed, and it's been used by the left as just another BLM, and it should never have been treated that way, because it is a real issue, and it's disgusting what's happening there in Gaza, by the way. So yeah, please share this message with whoever needs to hear this. I feel like everybody needs to hear this, but whoever you think